How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all excited for the new 2.4 update that has been announced to release very soon. We have 2 new characters coming out, brand new weapon, and so many more exciting events. Today's video will be mainly focused on how to prepare for characters and how to prepare your inventory so that you can raise these characters as soon as you get them. Now keep in mind, it does take a little bit of time and resin to be able to farm all the materials you need, but hopefully these tips will help you manage your time a bit more wisely so that you are really ready when those characters release. I'd like to start this video into 2 different categories. One of them is for the guaranteed character and the other is for not guaranteed or still planning to get. So that means you're not 100% sure you're going to get the character. We will start it off with the guaranteed characters. Most of this information came from the enhancement calculator which miHoYo provided us with, so here is basically the summary for that. If you are planning to get your character from level 1 all the way to level 90, you're gonna need to have around 419 heroes wit. If you have that, then you're good, you don't need to farm heroes wit at all. If you want to get the character just to level 80, then you're going to need about 247 of them. I know that it can be a lot of farming to do, especially in the short amount of time we have until 2.4 releases, but if you've been saving up for a while and if you participate in events, you know that there's also rewards from that, and hopefully you will be able to get those in time. There is no rush to raise characters, so take as much time as you need to raise these people. The next thing I'd like to mention are ascension mats. To ascend your character all the way to level 80 and not ascended past that, you're going to need 1 sliver, 9 fragments, 9 chunks, and 26 boss drops. This is an example of a boss drop, and there are plenty more that you will need to farm, so make sure you know exactly which boss your character requires raising. Now the next part is going to be the mora required. You are required to have 1,200,000 mora to be able to raise your character to 80. If you do not know how to farm mora, or if you don't have an effective way of farming it, I have a video all about that, so don't forget to check that out after this one. After raising your character to as far as you need it, you're going to want to do your talents next. Make sure you know which talents to prioritize, like if it's a main DPS, you're going to want to do their normal attacks, or if they're a support character, you might want to do their burst or their elemental skill. If the character has been released and the materials for their talents are confirmed, then you will farm exactly those materials in those talent book domains. If the character is unreleased and we are not yet sure of which talent books it requires, then you can try to farm mob drops or mora, which is really important when raising talent, especially if you are planning to triple crown them. Speaking of triple crowned, you will need around 5 million mora to be able to triple crown your character that you're going to get. You are going to need 114 4-star books, 63 3-star books, and 9 2-star books. If you are not using the larger boss materials for your talents and getting them to 666, then you will need 9 2-star books and 63 3-star books. You will need also about 3 million mora for that. Now a question you might be having is, what about artifacts? Should I farm them now or should I wait until I get them? Here's what I would say. If you are guaranteed the character, then you might want to check artifacts for now, and you might want to look at artifact domains and which ones to use, or if you have spare artifacts, you might want to set those aside for your character, but I wouldn't plan on going to do those domains and using your resin just yet, because who knows, maybe a build might change, there might be a better build coming out, or if you do not know a lot about the playstyle of the character, then I wouldn't go and farm the artifacts just yet. Now it is time for another important part of the video, which is going to be weapons. A lot of you are free to play, which means you have limited weapons and you don't have access to a bunch of 5-star R5 weapons. So first, you might want to go with the weapon you're planning to use on the character. If you're running a support character, you might want to have energy recharge or elemental mastery, or depending on how you are playing the character, that's the weapon you're going to choose. If it's a 5-star weapon and you want to get it to level 90, then you will need around 900 of those blue 3-star crystals. If it is a 4-star weapon and you want to get to level 90, you will need 600 of those crystals. If you are just getting it to level 80, then you're going to need around 530. If it's a 5-star weapon and you're only getting it to level 80, then you're going to need 530 of those crystals, and if it is from level 1 to 80, it's a 4-star weapon, then you'll need 360 of them. If you forget these numbers, that's okay, because an enhancement calculator made by miHoYo, as I mentioned earlier, is available for these numbers. Since we have a new weapon in the 2.4 update that is going to be released, which is the new polearm, we don't exactly know which materials will be required for this weapon, which is why I say you should farm crystals and enhancement ores instead. If you are low on enhancement ores and low on crystals, then you might want to go talk to the blacksmith so you can find out where these crystal ores are located and farm them and turn them into XP, because we have a limit of creating these XPs, so you might want to do the maximum amount and use those crystals, or if you really need to use your resin on them, you can do that too, but I don't recommend it. But you will want to collect these crystal ores so that you can raise their weapons as soon as you get them. For a released weapon that you already know what mats are required, then you will just want to go farm those domains and farm the ascension materials. You're also going to have to farm the mora for it and farm the mob drops. This is where I'd like to move on to section 2 of the video, and it's the I'm still deciding for pulling for the character, or I am not guaranteed and I still have to win a 50-50. If you are still unsure of maybe I might pull the character or maybe I might not, but I'm still deciding on that, then a way to prepare for the character is by farming the natural resources. For example, silk flowers, core lapis, or whatever those things you need. You might want to go and search the world for those because you will be needing them for your ascension materials or your talent materials. Now, if the character is unreleased and we don't know yet about them, you might just want to focus on mora or XP materials. Something to note when you are farming for characters that you're still deciding on getting, or if you're not guaranteed to get, you will want to farm hero's wit or universal materials that you can use on other characters. So that means do not go and farm specific domains, do not go and farm specific bosses, just farm materials that can be used on many different characters and not just the one you're pulling for. For example, if you're planning on getting Xiao, you don't want to go and farm the Primogeo Vishap, you're going to want to farm hero's wit, because if you don't get Xiao and you lose the 50-50, you can still use that hero's wit and your resin does not go to waste. It is really helpful for resin management, so make sure you know these tips so that you are not wasting your resin if you don't get the character. Now for the last part, which is the non-guaranteed for artifacts. You can start farming the artifacts, like if it's Zhongli, you can start farming tenacity, but I do not recommend raising the artifacts in case you do not get those characters. For example, if you've been raising a bunch of HP circlets or anything with HP percentage on them, and then you don't end up getting Zhongli, those artifacts might end up going to waste because you do not have a character to suit them. My main tip here is to farm universal materials if you are not guaranteed a character, or if you still need to win a 50-50 on the character. I hope you found these tips helpful, and I'm really wishing you the best of luck if you're pulling for Shenhe, Xiao, Zhongli, Ganyu, or Yunjin. I am so excited for the 2.4 update, and I hope you are too. Good luck when raising your characters, and good luck on your pulls. I'll see you next time. Bye!